I convinced them that you had crossed the hill. I do not choose that the police should come between me and one whom I am delighted to honor. This is a lucky morning for you, Mr. Richard Hammy.
Hello everybody out there in YouTube land, Noodle here, and today we're back again, back with the 39 steps, and we are continuing our story. The game is up. Things are looking desperate for Hanny, and his pursuers gain the upper hand. Running is the only option. The game is up. Thursday, 28 May 1914, Peeblesshire, Scotland. Oh, that's a good drink. I spent the night on the hillside. It was a cold business, for I had neither coat nor waistcoat. These were in Mr. Turnbull's keepings, as was Scudler's little book, my watch, and worst of all, my pipe and tobacco pouch. Only my money accompanied me in my belt, and about half a pound of ginger biscuits in my trouser pocket. I supped up half those biscuits, and by worming myself deep into the heather, I had some kind of warmth. The heather is like the fields. So far, I had been miraculously lucky. My chief trouble was that I was desperately hungry. I lay torturing myself, for the ginger biscuits merely emphasized the aching void with the memory of all the good food I had thought so little of in London. In longing hopelessly for those dainties, I fell asleep. I woke very cold and stiff about an hour after dawn. It took me a little while to remember where I was. I raised myself in arms and looked down to the valley, and that one look set me lacing up my boots in mad haste. There were men below, not more than a quarter of a mile off, spaced on the hillside like a fan and beating the heather. Marmee had not been slow in looking for his revenge. I scrambled up the top of the ridge. My pursuers were patiently quarreling the hillside and moving upwards, keeping behind the skyline. I ran for maybe half a mile. Then I showed myself. The line of search had changed its direction. I pretended to retreat over the skyline, but instead went back the way I had come. In 20 minutes I was behind the ridge, overlooking my sleeping place. The police had evidently called in local talent to their aid, and the men I could see had the appearance of herds or gamekeepers. The exercise had warmed my blood, and I was beginning to enjoy myself. I trusted to the strength of my legs, but I was well aware that those behind me would be familiar with the lie of the land, and that my ignorance would be a heavy handicap. My stratagem had given me a fair start, call it 20 minutes, and I had the width of Glen behind me before I saw the first of the heads of the pursuers. From that viewpoint, I had the satisfaction of seeing the pursuit streaming up the hill at the top of the glen on a hopeless false scent. That was a cool little segment, by the way. It began to seem less of a game. Those fellows behind me were hefty men on their native heath. I looked back and saw that only 3 were following direct. I guessed that the others had fetched a circuit to cut me off. I resolved to get out of the tangle of glens to the pocket of a moor I had seen from the tops. I put on a great spurt after I got off my ridge and down to the moor before any figures appeared on the skyline behind me. Clear the road ran to a house, and I began to think of doing the same. Approach the house. I saw the face of an elderly gentleman meekly watching me from within the glass veranda. That's a nice veranda. Seated at the knee-hole desk with the benevolent old gentleman with some papers and open volumes before him. His face was round and shiny, with big glasses stuck on the end of his nose, and the top of his head was as bright and bare as a glass bottle.
You seem in a hurry, my friend.
I nodded towards the window It gave a prospect across the moor and revealed figures half a mile off strangling through the heather.
Ah, I see. A fugitive from justice, eh? Well, we'll go into the matter at our leisure. Meantime, I object to my privacy being broken in upon by the clumsy rural policeman. Go into my study and you will see 2 doors facing you. Take the one on the left and close it behind you. You will be perfectly safe.
Cool, old man. Once again, I had found an unexpected sanctuary. The master of the house, sitting in a deep armchair, now regarded me with curious eyes.
They gone?
They have gone. I convinced them that you'd cross the hill. I do not choose that the police should come between me and one whom I am delighted to honor. This is a lucky morning for you, Mr. Richard Hannay.
Oh. C-Squared is not playing Rust. As he spoke, his eyelids seemed to tremble and fall a little over his keen gray eyes. In a flash, the phrase of Scudler's came back to me when he had described the man he most dreaded in the world. He said that he could hood his eyes like a hawk. I saw that I had walked straight into the enemy's headquarters. Collected Backstone Boss. Bloop, in my pocket. Throttle! He seemed to anticipate my intention, for he smiled gently and he nodded to the door behind me. I turned and saw 2 men servants who had me covered with pistols. He knew my name, but he had never seen me before, and as the reflection darted across my mind, I saw a slender chance.
I don't know what you mean. And who are you calling Richard Hannay? My name's Ainsley.
So, but of course you have others. We won't quarrel about a name.
I was pulling myself together now, and I reflected at my garb. Lacking coat and waistcoat and collar would at any rate not betray me, but I put on my surliest face and shrugged my
I
shoulders.
suppose you're going to give me up after all, and I call it a damn dirty trick. My God, I wish I'd never seen that cursed motor car. Here's the money and be damned to you.
He opened his eyes a little.
Oh no, I shall not give you up. My friends and I will have a little private settlement with you. That is all. You know a little too much, Mr. Hannay. You're a clever actor, but not quite clever enough.
He spoke with assurance, but I could see the dawning of a doubt in his mind.
For God's sake, stop jawing. Everything is against me. I haven't had a bit of luck since I came on shore at Leith. What's the harm in a poor devil with an empty stomach picking up some money he finds in a bust-up motor car? That's all I've done, and for that I've been chivied for 2 days by those blasted bobbies over those blasted hills. I tell you, I'm fair sick of it. You know what you like, old boy? Ned Ainsley's got no fight left in him.
I could see that the doubt was gaining.
Will you oblige me with the story of your recent doings?
I can't, Governor. I've not had a bite to eat for 2 days. Give me a mouthful of food, and then you'll hear God's truth.
Yummy. Oh. Yeah. Yum, yum. Yum, 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 yum. Throw that shit on the ground. I wolfed him down like a pig, or rather, like Ned Ainsley, for I was keeping up my character. Then I told him my story. Oh, I love these sequences. God's truth. Toot toot, I'm on a little boat, motherfucker. Toot toot to the Andridge. Edinburgh. Ned Ainsley was a common Londoner who arrived at Leith a week ago and was making his way overland to his brother at Wigton. Or Wigtown. Look at those fine elbow patches. He found 3 sovereigns lying in the seat of a bust-up car and another on its floor. Let's reach in here and get some money. Money? There was nobody there, or any sign of the owner, so Ainsley pocketed the cash. I think I'll purchase some bread with my money. My newly found wealth. Hello, ma'am. I'm looking to purchase some bread. Let's see, will this do? He tried to change a sovereign at the baker's, but the woman cried on the police. Police? Oh shit. Shit just got real. A little later. Why would he leave his coat and shit? The police had tracked him down, and Ainsley was on the run across Scotland. Wonderful.
I can have the money back for a fat lot of good it's done me. Those perishers are all down on a poor man. Now, if it had been you, Governor, that had found the quids, nobody would have troubled you.
You're a good liar, Hanny.
Stop fooling, damn you. I tell you, my name's Ainsley, and I've never heard of anyone called Annie in my born days. I'd sooner have the police than you with your Hannays and your monkey-faced pistol tricks. No, Governor, I beg pardon. I don't mean that. I'm much obliged to you for the grub, and I'll thank you to let me go now the coast's clear.
It was obviously he was badly puzzled. He had never seen me, and my appearance must have altered considerably from my photographs.
I do not propose to let you go. If you are what you say you are, you will soon have a chance of clearing yourself. If you are what I believe you are, I do not think you will see the light much longer.
He rang a bell, and a third servant appeared from the veranda.
I want the Lanchester in 5 minutes. There will be 3 to luncheon.
You'll know me next time, Governor.
Oh, God.
Karl, stecke diesen in den Lagerraum. Und bis ich zurückkomme, bist du mir vor ihm verantwortlich.
German. I was marched out of the room with a pistol at each ear. New event. Desperate measures. Oh man, this has turned pretty dark. Alright, I guess we'll keep going. Desperate measures. In the jaws of the enemy, Hannay fate appears sealed. The clock is ticking against Hannay and the Great Britain. Oh, and Great Britain. No. I guess it is and the Great Britain. Desperate measures. Friday, 29 May 1914. Blackstone, HQ, Scotland. The whole place smelled of mold and disuse. The old boy had gone off on a motor to collect the 2 ruffians who had interviewed me yesterday. Now they had seen me as the roadman, and they would remember me, for I was in the same rig. What was a roadman doing 20 miles from his beat, pursued by the police? A question or two would put them on the track. Probably they had seen Mr. Turnbull probably mar me too. Most likely they could link me up with Sir Harry, and then the whole thing would be crystal clear. The more I thought about it, the angrier I grew. I had to get up and move about the room. Empty storeroom. Only one thing to look at. Damn it, I couldn't open the boxes. Try it again. I found a handle on the wall which seemed worth investigating. Cool. Storeroom. Okay, I took a box. Flashlights? Great. What else do we have here? Oh, what's this? What? Oh. I don't know what that is. Oh, and it's spool, obviously. Great. I don't know what any of this shit means. Okay, the box. We're opening the box. What's in the box? What's in the box? It looks like there's a box in the box. It looks like there's sponges in the box. What? What is that? It's marijuana. It was litonite, a powerful explosive I knew from my time as a mining engineer. Oh, collected litonite. Great. But I'd forgotten the proper charge and the right way of preparing it, and I wasn't sure about the timing. I had only a vague notion, too, as to its power, for though I'd used it, I had not handled it with my own fingers. But it was a chance, the only possible chance. The remembrance of little Scutler decided me. Rig explosives. Oh God. Oh God. Oh God. This may or may not work out very well. It was about the beastliest moment of my life, for I'm no good at these cold-blooded resolutions. I still managed to rake up the pluck and set my teeth and choke back the horrid doubts that flooded on me. I simply shut off my mind and pretended I was doing an experiment as simple as Guy Fawkes fireworks. Shit, it's about to get real. Oh shit. Ugh, let's get the fuck out of here. Aboard a demolition man. Oh, Jesus Christ. My stupor can scarcely have lasted beyond a few seconds. I stepped over the broken linen and I found myself standing in a yard in a dense, acrid fog. I felt very sick and ill, but I could move my limbs and stagger blindly forward from the house. Guess we used a bit too much there, huh? A small mill lade ran in the wooden aqueduct at the other side of the yard. I fell into this. The cool water revived me, and I had just enough wits left to think of an escape. I squirmed at the lade among the slippery green slime till I reached the mill wheel. Then I wiggled through the axle hole in the old mill and tumbled onto a bed of chaff. A nail caught the seat of my trousers, and I left a wisp of heather mixture behind me. Nausea shook me, and a wheel in my head kept turning while my left shoulder and arm seemed to be stricken with the palsy. I crawled down the broken ladder, scattered chaff behind me to cover my footsteps. I did the same on the mill floor and on the threshold where the door hung on broken hinges. I slipped across the space and got to the back of the dovecot and prospected for a way to ascent. But by the use of outjutting stones, gaps in the masonry, and tough ivy root, I got to the top. Jesus Christ. I found a space to lie down. Then I proceeded to go off in an old-fashioned swoon. New event, downward spiral. Fuck. Alright. Let's keep going, shall we? Damaged and intoxicated, Hannah escapes to the clutches of the Black Stone, but they know he is nearby. Whew. The downward spiral. Saturday, 30 May 1914. Blackstone, HQ, Scotland. I woke with the burning head and the sun glaring in my face. For a long time I lay motionless, for those horrible fumes seemed to have loosened my joints and dulled my brain. There was a little gap in the parfait to which I wiggled, and from which I had some sort of prospect of the yard. Okay, so he didn't really go that far. It appears that... Oh, I can't show you, but where the hole is, he kind of went north, and then that little white squibbly line seems to be the aqueduct. And so then he took that into the barn, and then crawled out and is now on the pillar by the yellow diamond. I saw figures come out, a servant with his head bound up, and then a younger man in knickerbockers. I saw the rotund figure of my late captor, and I thought I made out the man with the lisp. I noticed that all had pistols. They were looking for something and moved towards the mill. For half an hour, they ransacked the mill. Then they came outside and stood just below the dovette, arguing fiercely. I heard them fiddling with the door of the dovecote, and for one horrified moment, I fancied they were coming up. Then they thought better of it and went back to the house. All that long, blistering afternoon, I lay baking on the rooftop. Ugh. Thirst was my chief torment. My tongue was like a stick. I watched the course of a little stream as it came in from the moor. I would have given £1,000 to plunge my face into that. I saw the car speed away with 2 occupants and a man on a hill pony riding east. I wished them joy on their quest. If the aeroplane came back, the chances were 10 to 1 that I would be discovered. So through the afternoon I lay and prayed for the oncoming of darkness. On the dovecot. Health. My shoulder was in a bad way, but first thought it was only a bruise, but it seemed to be swelling and I had no use of my left arm. I had a crushing headache and I felt as sick as a cat. Those litonite fumes had fairly poisoned me, and the baking hours in the dovecot hadn't helped matters. Appearance. I had neither coat, waistcoat, collar, nor hat. My trousers were badly torn, and my face and hands were black with the explosion. I dare say I had other beauties, for the eyes felt as if they were furiously bloodshot. Jesus. Escape. It seemed to me that the sooner I got in touch with the Foreign Office man, Sir Walter Bullivant, the better. He must just take or leave my story, and anyway, with him I would be in better hands than those devilish Germans. I began to feel quite kindly towards the British police. My plan was to seek Mr. Trumbull's cottage, recover my garments, and especially Scudler's notebook, then make for the main line and get back to the south. Okay, so we gotta go get the notebook. Thank God it was a black night. Why's it gotta be black, huh? My thirst was too great to allow me to tarry, so about 9 o'clock, as far as I could judge, I started to descend. Halfway down, I heard the back door of the house open and saw the gleam of a lantern against the mill wall. For some agonizing minutes, I hung by the ivy and prayed that whoever it was would not come around by the dovecot. The light disappeared, and I dropped as softly as I could onto the hard soil of the yard. I crawled on my belly with the lee of a stone dike until I reached the fringe of trees which surrounded the house. I was in a pretty bad way. 10 minutes later, my face was in the spring, and I was soaking down pints of the blessed water. But I did not stop until I put 6 miles between me and that accursed dwelling. I sat down and took stock of my position. Sir Harry's map had given me the lie of the land. All I had to do was steer a point or two west of southwest to come to a stream where I had met the roadsman. I calculated it must be about 18 miles distant, and that meant I could not get there before morning. Damn it. Very soon after daybreak, I made an attempt to clean myself in a hill burn, and then approached a herd's cottage where I was feeling the need of food.
What in the name of... What's happened to you?
Forgive me. I've taken a pretty bad fall.
Come in. Come in.
The herd's wife. Oh, yeah. First impressions. She was a decent old body. She was a decent old body and plucky one, for though she was a fright when she saw me, she had an axe handy and would have used it on any evildoer. I don't know what she took me for. A repugnant burglar, perhaps? The Samaritan. Like a true Samaritan, she asked no questions but gave me a bowl of milk with a dash of whiskey in it and let me sit for a little by her kitchen fire. She would have bathed my shoulder, but it ached so badly that I would not let her touch it. She She showed me how to wrap the plate around my shoulders, and when I left the cottage, I was a living image of some kind of Scotsman you see in the illustrations in Burns' poems.
Please, take this as payment for your hospitality.
No. Keep your siller. No. Give it to them that hae richt it. Oh, richt then, if you insist. Tak my plaid and, this old hat that belonged to my man.
Oh, she gives the hat. And what a hat. Good thing, too, because it's starting to rain. I passed through the Marys that night along the wet hills. Twice I lost my way and I had some nasty falls into peat bogs. Can't do the shoulder any good. I had only about 10 miles to go as the crow flies, but mistakes were made it near 20. The last bit was completed with set teeth and very light and dizzy head. I don't know what that means. But I managed it. In the early dawn, I was knocking at Mr. Turnbull's door.
Where are ye that comes stravaiging here in the Sabbath morning?
My head was swimming so wildly that I could not frame a coherent answer, but he recognized me.
Ah. Aye, have you got my specs?
I fetched them out of my trouser pocket.
You'll have come for your jacket and waistcoat. Come on, boy. Losh, man, you're terrible down to the legs. Hold up till I get you to a chair.
I had a good deal of fever in my bones, and the wet night had brought it out, while my shoulder and the effects of the fumes combined to make me feel pretty bad. I perceived I was in for a bout of malaria. Before I knew it, Mr. Turnbull was helping me off with my clothes and putting me into bed with one of the two cupboards that lined the kitchen walls. He was a true friend in need, that old roadman. No, I mean, he did save his job. New event, the dry fly fisherman. Alright, I guess that's it. So, thank you everybody, thank you for joining me here with the 39 steps. I'm really liking this. I like the story, I like where it's going. We're almost done with this. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 more to go, so maybe 2 more videos, maybe 3, I don't know. So I guess that's it. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you guys next time. Peace out, everybody.